Oh man, He-Man hunk Dolph Lundgren looks incredible 35 years on from Masters of the Universe.
He's All That actress Addison Rae shows off her toned tummy in a flirty pink plaid top and pleated skirts during a photo shoot in LA.
Rapper Joey Badass won't ejaculate during sex to preserve his life.
Hello, and welcome to Barely Contained, the free-thinking podcast that dares to give you the truth about showbiz journalism without a philosophy degree or rousing the hackles of veteran rock stars. I'm Chris Beckett, and joining me as ever is Matt Withers. Hi, Matt. How the devil are you?
Yeah, I'm chickadee-boo, thank you very much.
Excellent, excellent. So, Matt, I understand that you're going to start things off with a bit of a blast from the past.
Indeed, this is a story from the Sun Online. It's by Stephen Allison, and it's headlined, "Oh man, He-Man hunk Dolph Lundgren looks incredible 35 years on from Masters of the Universe."
Whoa, go on.
Big news here. It begins. Superhero fans will no doubt remember the 1987 classic film Masters of the Universe.
Classic.
Yeah.
Doing some very heavy lifting.
I have to say, I suspect an awful lot of superhero fans will not remember the film Masters of the Universe. And if they do very dimly recall it, it will be for being legendarily very, very bad.
Yeah, I mean, I have to confess, I did see this at the cinema, and it's not left much of an impression on me.
Yeah, I would say at best it was a 90-minute long tawdry advert for toys.
Yes. Funny you should use that description.
The movie starred Swedish actor Dolph Lundgren as He-Man, who arrived by chance on Earth from planet Eternia.
It's like setting it up as a sort of rom-com. Yeah. He was a superhero.
The beefy hero found himself on a crucial mission to save the universe from his evil nemesis Skeletor, played by screen legend Frank Langella.
So far, so wiki.
Yeah, it really is. The person who wrote this, again, Stephen Allison, has definitely not seen this film. The beefy hero? Beefy's not a word you get used very often.
No, I mean, it's hard to now look at Dolph Lundgren without imagining him, in the House of Lords as a former cricketer.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe the anthropomorphic Pepperami from the adverts.
Oh, yeah, nice.
And screen legend Frank Langella, would we say he's a screen legend?
I mean, he's very good, and he's getting on a bit. He's borderline.
Directed by Gary Goddard, Masters of the Universe was actually a bit of a flop, with Variety slamming it as a colossal bore and the Los Angeles Times a misfiring, underdone epic.
Yeah, those were both definitely mentioned in Wikipedia.
Yeah. So we've gone from the intro, where it's described as the 1987 classic film, and within 4 parts, it was actually a bit of a flop.
Yeah.
Even so, fans agree the film had its own unique appeal, packed to the rafters with enjoyably daft comedy and fun action scenes.
Great japes.
Flash forward to 2022, and Dolph isn't a trillion light years away from the ripped hunk he portrayed in the flick, like fans might expect.
Yeah, I mean, what is it about someone who was chosen to play He-Man that might lead you to think that they're in good physical shape?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like he was played by Nicholas Lyndhurst. Although I would watch a He-Man played by Nicholas Lyndhurst.
I think, you didn't need to say He-Man. Could have been anything.
Make it happen, BBC. I don't think Nadine Dorries could touch a corporation that produced a version of He-Man starring Nicholas Lyndhurst.
It would give them some cover.
Now 62, the handsome star hasn't lost those chiseled cheekbones or that trademark blonde coif, and the years have barely taken their toll.
Oh,
I mean, it'd be very unusual had he lost his cheekbones.
Yeah, just decided to take him out.
Could have been an act of misfortune if it turned out he just lost them.
Yeah.
However, His days of wielding a sword in little more than tight leather pants and golden shoulder pads have made way for smarter times in snappy suits.
These days, Anthony Hopkins likes to sit at home and compose piano sonatas, a far cry from his days eating livers and wearing people's faces.
It is very odd that it should be considered remarkable that he, 35 years on, doesn't still dress as He-Man.
Yeah, there's very much a slight confusion between his personal life and his acting life.
It would be genuinely tragic if his friends went round to see him now and he opened the door, still wearing his tight leather pants and golden shoulder pads and wielding a sword. They'd be like, Dolph, let it go, man. That was 35 years ago. Move on.
To be fair, I think that's what the guy that plays Flash Gordon does.
Dolph has avoided disappearing into obscurity like a lot of other 80s and 90s actors, even if he did do a lot of direct-to-video content back in the day.
God, they're very kind to him.
It's very curiously written, this.
Yeah, avoided disappearing into obscurity. Like he saw it coming, and olé.
He just took a sidestep like in The Matrix. He now features in big name productions, recently starring as King Nerois in Aquaman and reprising the role for its upcoming sequel, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom.
Yeah, I think if we asked Stephen to name another one, he might be waiting a bit.
Well, you say that, but fans have also seen him pop up in the likes of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Creed 2, Arrow, and the Expendables series.
Oh, I stand corrected.
Yep. The Stockholm-born actor has 2 daughters with his ex-wife, Annette Kviberg, Ida Sigrid Lundgren, 26, and Greta Evelyn Lundgren, 21.
Lots of nice, rich detail there.
Yep. And that is the end of that story.
Wow.
Which I think
that's a good one.
We could briefly sum up as Dolph Lundgren looks a bit like he did when he played He-Man, but he doesn't dress as He-Man anymore.
Yeah, and guy that was a professional bodybuilder turned actor still keeps in relatively good shape.
You can see why the news desk ears pricked up when they heard that one. Now, Chris, I believe that you have taken a look at the Daily Mail online and a story of taxi service Addison Rae.
Very nice. Yes, this is by Heidi Parker for dailymail.com. Headline, He's All That actress Addison Rae shows off her toned tummy in a flirty pink plaid top and pleated skirt during a photo shoot in LA.
Wow, I don't know who she is.
Well, Matt, are you familiar with the film She's All That?
I've heard of the name. I've not seen it.
Well, in that case, you're going to love stroke be completely, meh about the sequel 20 years on. He's All That.
Oh, wow. Is He's All That a classic like Masters of the Universe or a flop like Masters of the Universe?
I think it's very much the Schrodinger's film. Whatever you want to say, it is it. It is only halfway through winter, but Addison Rae already seems to be in a mood for spring.
Ooh.
On Thursday, the He's All That actress and top TikTok star shared 3 new photos to Instagram where she looks radiant in a light-coloured outfit.
I can already tell this is a big story.
Yeah, top TikTok star. We haven't really explored TikTok too often in our podcast. So
no, that's because
glad we're getting the cream.
Yeah, we're too old for it. I don't really know what it is, like NFTs.
Well, yeah. The 21-year-old star, who was born in Louisiana, wore a flirty pink top and skirt that showed off her toned tummy and sculpted legs as she stood in a studio.
I think we're too old to be reading this.
Why is it a flirty pink top?
Yeah, it's very flirty. It knows what it wants.
Dear Diary was all the star, whose full name is Addison Rae Easterling, said in her brief caption for her over 40 million Instagram followers.
40 million. That is more people than listen to this podcast.
Exactly. And they're hanging out for great content like a 2-word caption. The top was cropped with cap sleeves and a pink plaid print that looked perfect for the warmer months, or completely inappropriate for winter.
Yep, still February.
The skirt was very short and had pleats that made it look like part of a private school uniform, and her heels were silver and platform with a strap over the ankle.
Right. Now, we should say, looking at this picture here, were this a private school uniform, I think the Daily Mail would be very, very angry.
Well, yes, I think they would be going very red in the face.
Yes, this is completely inappropriate for a school, fee-paying or otherwise.
Yeah, it would be. How on earth can we allow the children of this school to look like this? Here's 25 pictures.
Yeah, absolutely. And also Keir Starmer must resign.
The pal of Kourtney Kardashian wore her highlighted hair partially up as she added pink makeup and a choker necklace. When taking a selfie, Rae held a child's beaded necklace. Paris Hilton liked the post. What a badge of honor. Rae has recently been focused on her perfume line, Addison Rae Fragrance. The influencer announced that she would be making the brand's first 3 offerings available to the public this past November. Some interesting tense going on there.
Yeah.
The scents that have been sold are both vegan and water-based, as well as being alcohol-free.
That's good. So you can neck it on a night out and still be the designated driver.
Well, exactly. I mean, I'm slightly wondering if they actually smell of anything, but yeah.
Yeah, it's just water. It's basically water.
The social media powerhouse previously spoke about moving into the fragrance world during an interview with WWD, where she expressed that perfumes were that next thing that she wanted to add to her portfolio.
Moving into the fragrance world, portfolio, like an episode of The Apprentice.
I was gonna say she's ready. She's ready to be the next apprentice. Rae also expressed that she had developed an interest in working with scents over the past few years.
How old is this woman?
Well, I was going to say she is 21 years old.
So the past few years, basically as long as she's been sentient.
Yes, as long as she has been sentient, she has been intrigued and wanting to move into scents. Progressively, as I've gotten older, I've been super interested in fragrance. It's such a different area to put yourself into and to know and see the behind the scenes, she said. It's interesting as you, that you progressively get older.
Yes, that is the traditional way, I say, the classic way of getting older. I like to do it progressively. I'm not one of these people who go straight from like 35 to 40.
No, that doesn't really work. Hampton Beauty's Laurie Mariano told the media outlet that the influencer was attempting to show her followers a different side of herself with the scents. She noted that Rae wanted to bring something different to the market. She wanted not only for her audience and fans to smell good, she wanted them to feel good. God. Mariano went on to remark that the influencer's followers were looking for an unusual take on scents, which the social media personality was happy to promote.
They want the unusual take to be a scent that doesn't smell of anything.
Exactly. The Gen Z audience want you to do something a little different from the norm. We gave Addison a platform to approach fragrances from a different angle, she said.
What does that even mean?
I don't know, but, that's it.
Yeah.
There's no more.
There's no more. Thank God for that. Any interesting comments?
Well, someone has written, this is Ait Immer Head Out from Salzburg, has written actress with about 25 question marks.
Yep. I see that Kinsella99 in Beverly Hills, California said she was terribly awkward in that movie. You could tell she couldn't act to save her life. Very stiff and talentless. To which Tim Cruise in Sweden has replied, stiff and talentless, like my bratwurst.
Wow. Yeah. Sometimes it's best just not to say anything at all. To be the bigger man. Okay, Matt. I mean, I think we need to cool down after that one. What do you suggest?
Well, I have a story. It is by Molly Quirt for the Daily Star Online, and it's headlined "Rapper Joey," and its surname is spelled Badass, won't ejaculate during sex to preserve his life. Now, I'm interested in the pronunciation of his name because I don't know this chap from Adam, but you'd assume that it's Badass, wouldn't you?
I would have almost put my house on it.
Well, I would like to think that he is a bit like Hyacinth Bouquet in the Keeping Up Appearances.
Right.
He insists it's Badass, and that they could do a remake of Keeping Up Appearances with him picking up the phone and going, "The Badass residence, rapper of the house speaking."
That would be good. Yeah, I can see. We should make that happen.
Yeah. So throughout this article, I will be referring to him as Badass, and we'll get that remake happen. And he will live next door to He-Man, who will be played by Nicholas Lyndhurst.
I mean, I can't see why this wouldn't work.
Yeah, but he would portray him as like an Onslow type figure. So we've lost the younger listeners in the highly unlikely event that we had any in the first place.
Yeah, those Gen Zs are off, applying Addison Rae perfume.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, Chris, I approach podcasts from a different angle.
Yes.
Anyway, we should probably focus on the actual nature of the story. So rapper Joey Badass won't ejaculate during sex to preserve his life.
Okay.
Lovely stuff.
It's a view.
It's a view. It's a view. It goes on. Joey Badass, an American rapper, has revealed that he won't ejaculate during sex to preserve his life existence, and has also dubbed masturbation weird.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll just be a little bit careful around this one. We'll just tiptoe around.
Yeah, I think we probably should.
Are you a fan of Badass and his oeuvre?
Well, I can't say I've actually heard of him.
No, he's not come across my radar yet. I've not heard Sarah Cox playing him out.
Yeah, I can imagine he's probably quite red. He's quite red in the face, much like a Daily Mail writer writing about private school uniforms.
American rapper Joey Badass, and then it's brackets afterwards, BADA $2. I have no idea what that means. Has spoken out about not wanting to ejaculate during sex because he would rather preserve his life force, as well as dubbing masturbation as weird.
I mean, that actually does tie in with He-Man, who also had to try and preserve his life force from the clutches of Skeletor.
He did indeed. And of course, at the end of every episode of the cartoon series, He-Man, he would always turn to camera and utter some advice for the listeners. I do remember that quite controversial episode where he said that you shouldn't ejaculate during sex.
Well, I mean, to be fair, if you think about it, all the way through He-Man, it was very much pro non-ejaculation. Yeah. The unsheathing the sword, I have the power.
Yeah.
He wasn't wanting to give away that power.
I just remember when that episode finished though, and it cut back to the broom cupboard, and just the silence between Andy Crane, Ned the Duck, and Wilson the Butler.
Oh, great times.
Very awkward for all concerned.
Mm.
The famous rapper, this is their words, not mine. Mm. The famous rapper appeared on Angela Yee's podcast Lip Service, with the star making a huge and incredibly explicit revelation to those listening.
Yep.
When the topic of sex came up in the conversation, the 27-year-old star was quick to comment about how he isn't a fan of ejaculating when he climaxes.
Okay, now, I don't know, maybe we shouldn't go into this too much, but is that possible? I don't know. Maybe
I don't feel comfortable.
No, let's move on. I'm sorry I brought it up.
Yeah. I've known you a long time, and I feel much more comfortable when we stick to the subjects of 1980s and 90s popular culture.
Fair enough.
I'd rather not bust a nut, period, because I would rather preserve my life force, he explained to the host and those tuning in. It isn't really how podcasts work.
Yeah, exactly.
When a man ejaculates, there's a lot of things that leave your body. There's blood cells, there's testosterone energy, you get depleted. Again,
dignity.
Yeah, we won't drill down too far into this, other than to say that he should perhaps consult a doctor. They say it's like an equivalent to running 20 miles when you bust a nut, he continued.
They say.
I think that's very much a Donald Trump, they say. A lot of people say, and it's something that literally no one has ever said.
Yeah.
Opening up about his sex life, Joey said, I've been doing this for like 2 years. I just hold it. Thing is, once you don't release that big ejaculation, you kind of, a lot of times, you have like multiple orgasms.
Okay.
Joey then spoke about masturbation when he revealed that he thinks masturbating is weird. He explained, I don't masturbate. I think that's weird.
Well, that's a great use of, a lead up to a quote followed by the exact same thing.
He then added, not for a woman, I think. I believe women are the more sexual being. I feel like as a man, you should be in control. You should have self-control. If you're at home masturbating, it's like, what are you doing? If you sit at home,
say podcasting.
Well, yeah. If you sit at home watching porn masturbating, I just think that's weird. And then it says, it has been widely reported that there isn't much research to suggest that there are benefits to not ejaculating, but there's also nothing to suggest that it's an unhealthy act. Whatever floats your boat, A.
There are good people on both sides, Matt. Some of which seem slightly more het up than the other. But yeah, I mean, one for the Lancet, I think.
I would love to see Joey Badass getting peer-reviewed in the Lancet.
Yeah, I think, it's the next step.
And with that, I would say highly unsavoury churn, Chris. I think it's time to bring this episode to a close.
Fair enough, Matt. Fair enough. I don't really think we could top that.
No, I think possibly we should end it there, and indeed the entire series.
leave them wanting more. Very much like Joey.
Oh no, we will be back in a couple of weeks. But in the interim, Chris, what should people be doing on the socials?
Yeah, well, on the socials, you can go to Facebook, Barely Contain the Podcast, and see us there. But, I'd still say you're probably your first port of call should be Twitter, at barely_pod. And you can get us on Spotify as well. We're still there.
Chris, can they find us on OnlyFans?
They cannot.
They cannot find us on OnlyFans. Yes, please do.
No, we've not quite got there yet.
No. I don't think it's one for us. But please do, once you've finished listening to this podcast, which I assure you will do in around 30 to 40 seconds, go to wherever you downloaded or streamed it, be that, as Chris says, Spotify, but also Amazon and Google and Apple. Leave us a review. 5 stars, please, if you're not sickened by that last vile turn. And of course, do tell your friends, tell your neighbours, especially if that neighbour is He-Man as portrayed by Nicholas Lyndhurst, and get the word out there.
Yeah, exactly. And just feel free to interact with us if you're planning to move into fragrance, or if you have some views on any of the stories, then drop us a line.
Drop us a line, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time. Bye bye.
Yeah, see you then. Bye, Matt.